Jacksonville traffic, experimental 086. We'll be doing a fast taxi, runway 7, staying on ground only. Again, runway 7, fast taxi, Meadville. Alright, hello everyone, Dino Don here with the next update on this progress report of getting this plane flying. That was my third attempt at taxiing today. The winds have been changing around out here. We were at, first initially we were using runway 25, and the winds were kind of swinging around, and Now they're swung around to the south. Now they're coming out of the southeast and sometimes out of the east, but they're light winds. But again, it's nice and cold out here today. It's not 40 degrees. All right, so this is a fix I came up with for my flaps. I put it all together up here where it originally was, and my hand can still bump this. It's sticking out a little longer than I wanted to. I made this without having to switch on hand, but I did want the tip of this switch to stick outside a little bit so you can at least catch it with your thumb. It couldn't stand to be a little longer, so I just moved it from here to here, because on my last attempt at taxiing, I was still touching that thing. I still had almost full flaps when I got down the end of the runway, and that's not good. So I moved it down here, and now it's clean out of the way, and that was a successful taxi. Got a little squirrely there on the end, but I was going about 40 mile an hour on my airspeed up there. I was trying to go a little faster, but it just seemed to be a little squirrely for some reason. Like the steering's getting sensitive on me, and I'm just barely touching the pedals trying to keep it corrected. So, like I say, right now it's just cold out here. It's not quite 40 degrees. Go ahead and slide this back into the hangar while I talk to you folks. Like I said, I did get 3 attempts in. There was a lot of traffic coming and going through here. People doing touch and goes. It's a beautiful day, that's why I decided to come down. It's, like I say, it's not very warm though. I don't think it's 40 degrees, and it's not supposed to get over probably 41 for a high today. I'm not sure how good you can see with this camera where I mounted it. Get these little chocks back in place here. Some little chocks that somebody from the airport set on me. But I wanted to get up fast enough to see if this was correcting my last problem, and so far it's running perfect. Excuse me. The water temp, I mean, like I said, it's cold out here. I wasn't seeing, my goodness, like 170, 180 degrees. So it's definitely, the thermostat's definitely working. But now I'm getting a little foggy in here. Like I said, it is cold out here. I don't know if that's the lens. No, it's not the lens. I think it's just being in here. So anyway, let me get my pitot tube cover out before I forget. But that last run, the flaps didn't come down on me. My hand's nowhere near it. Got my little luggage compartment here. Hand's nowhere near the flaps lever now, so I might have to try and cover up that hole that I got in there from where I took it out. But again, the cooling thermostat seems to be doing its job. It's running good. It's not having any trouble running. So, but I haven't gotten it up fast enough to see if this is going to fix the original problem of running rough. Just a little squirrely running today. I don't know why. It just seems to be a little extra sensitive taxiing down the runway. Let's see. Somebody had mentioned, one of the followers was asking about, was saying he's messed with engines like this before, and their fix for the thermostat for this environment is to take it completely out or put in a, what they call like a washer. If you can see this layer, this AN washer, but it'd be bigger, and you change the size of the hole. And then what you do is you put it in place of the thermostat, so it's always full flowing. It's got water continuously flowing through it. They do that for race cars. And like I said, he did it for apparently airplanes is what it sounded like. But that might be fine for a carbureted engine, but it's not going to work for a fuel injection motor, because if I put a washer in there for say 107 or a 75 degree day, and you get it out and you can get and the water temp stays at a constant 180 degrees, say. So then when the weather turns colder and you got colder air going through these radiators, then the engine and the temperature in the engine will start dropping, which isn't a bad thing. 160, 180 is still fine. But the problem with that is the computers in these things are designed, when you first turn on the power, first thing the computer looks at is what temperature is the engine. If the engine, it needs to know is the engine cold, warm, or hot. And then based on what it reads from that water temp, it will go into a fuel and timing tables for that temperature. And when it's really cold like today, 40 degrees, it knows to add fuel enrichment to the engine, like a choke mode, and then it kicks up the idle RPM with the air bypassing it and such to maintain an idle and get the thing started warming up. So if you have a washer in there with just a hole and this thing stays at 160 degrees all the time, that enrichment table goes based on temperature, and it's a multiplier to the base fuel tables for RPM, engine airflow, and such. So what happens is the computer always thinks the thing is still warming up, and the choke function is still partially on all the time. So if you're running 160 degrees because your hole in that thermostat is too big and it's letting too much water circulate through, it runs the engine colder. And then the computer is going to add fuel to it, and it's going to be running in a choke mode all the time. It's going to run rich. You're going to use excess fuel and possibly even foul out spark plugs. So on a carbureted motor, that wouldn't be a problem because you're not getting fuel enrichment electronically. But with this thing, fuel injection, I don't know what the tables are for the cutoff of fuel multipliers, base air temp and water temp. But I just know when we used to do the 5-liter Mustangs, you couldn't put a 160 degree thermostat in the car without reprogramming the computer to get rid of that fuel enrichment mode. So, so for right now, it's holding its own. The water temp's doing great. And then again, the flap switch problem, I hope that's taken care of. So it's looking promising there. It's down a little lower to where I can actually work it with my fingers. Thumb and real easy. So, oh man, it's cold out here. I'm shivering. I don't have my coat on. I take it off to get in the plane. So, but I just wanted to mount this camera. Again, I mentioned last video I had this little hole here, so I had it mounted there so you could look out through this. And the problem is I can't hardly turn my head back here to see where I'm looking at to see how good it is. I just kind of set it up before I went out. But it's just something to give another go. I have been looking at some Chinese knockoff versions of the little GoPros, and I found one that are in about the $60–70 price range that people have done reviews on YouTube, and they had a good review. The guy was showing the video quality with them, and it's 30 frames per second at the 4K, and then it goes up from there with the lower what is it, 4K to 1080i and such. It gives you different readings, and it's like a 20 megapixel for pictures, but it looks like it'd probably do the trick. So I've been thinking of getting one of those. It's a nice little square one that I could probably put on like a headband, and then have it right on my forehead. But the problem I'm still running into is my headset is hitting the inside of this canopy, and I can see a couple of scratches, or scratch here and here where the headset's probably touched it. So I got the guy down in Alabama offering to send me his canopy he has for a project he bought. So either that or I'm going to try and make a new one myself with just a bigger hump in it. So, well folks, I've been down here for at least 3 hours or more, and it's cold. Beautiful day, that's why I came down. I had that piece made, and I can, like I said, I can make another one. I can make it deeper, but it is an absolute beautiful day, just cold. See, now the wind's almost straight out of the due east, and earlier it was out of the west. So it had switched around, and so something was pushing me around out there when I was taxiing. It was a little rough on the taxi or coming up to this turn off on taxiway Charlie. So all right, I'm going to just go ahead and cut this one here, and if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, stick them in there. I might try and get back out here again later. Today's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We'll see how the weather goes. Basically, I just need to get it out and put some time on it. I'm pushing 9 hours since this thing's been on, but there was a couple hours on this before I came down here and started taxiing. I'd have to look through some of my old videos, see what I had on here, but you know, I've put on 5, maybe 6 hours of running this thing around, dealing with the tail wheel problem. I still might try a slightly heavier spring on the detent to kind of hold it a little stronger. It trips kind of easy, and that might be helping with a little bit of the wobbliness out there, the fishtailing, when I'm trying to get up speed. But I think eventually, once I get this thing and I'm really putting the power to it, that it may track a little straighter, because like I say, I'm only running 2,500, 3,000 RPM, and this motor's good for 6,000 RPM. So, well, folks, I'm just sitting here shivering, probably shaking the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day and head for home and go get something to eat. Again, if you guys think of anything you want to ask me, just feel free to ask. And a couple times I get some people come in there and want to write blah 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 blah, so I just delete their shit. It's like, I'm not going to put up with them. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today's update. Sorry it's not more, but I'll try and get back down here. Like I said, the winter can still be nice. It's nice and warm in the plane once I close the canopy, so if it gets some more days like this, I'll come back. But once it starts probably dropping under the 30s, I'm not going to be coming down here. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for today. So until next time, this is Dino Don out.